In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. How are you this morning? I am a little hoarse. I don't mean by that My Little Pony or anything like that. What a day yesterday. Beautiful day in the bay. Let me show you this photo. Look at that. That was my come hither photograph for the meetup yesterday at San Martino de Porto. What a beautiful day. And about time too, Portugal. Thank you very much. I know we needed the rain, but not 6 continuous years of it. And I know there's more to come in April, in Abril, Aguas Mil, but it was so nice. I mean, you should have seen the people yesterday, including this gentleman who came to see us as well, all the way from Aveiro. Thank you so much, Andy. And it was a pleasure to show you around the town yesterday. Thanks very much for coming. Andy Klein, our expat journey. You know what, folks, those of us who made it to the meetup yesterday, I think will be immortalized in a forthcoming Our Expat Journey video. So thank you, Andy, for being there. Thank you, everybody who came. The sunshine brought you out, and there was a vitamin D crew out on the deck. There were some people taking cover just in case it rained again. But there are quite a few people, what with one person and another yesterday, coming in from all over the world, people on scouting missions, people who live here, people returning. It was really lovely, really fantastic convivial atmosphere, and so nice to get some of that sunshine. Before I dispense with San Martino de Porto's meetup, which we do incidentally every Wednesday, between 1 and 3. What's this, Andy? I had a big time at the meetup. Oh, I hope that's a good thing, Andy. And we went on later on in the day. Andy went home, and I imagine it must have been lovely to take the journey home as well, up through the country. And we went on later on that afternoon or some of us, to Óbidos, to the Infusions Cafe, where the Silva Coast volunteers, and what an amazing bunch they are, had us back for, there's our manager on the right. That's the legendary Colin Ross Jones, the Svengali manager, with a very interesting management style, getting the best out of the team there. And look, there, I don't care what he says his name is James. And he's on the left there. We had a great time. Great to see you, James, yesterday evening. And loads of wine behind him. He won one of those bottles of wine last night in the raffle, which was great. And a fantastic fundraiser. I think they raised nearly €400 for charities on the Silva Coast, the Silva Coast volunteers. And of course, look, who's that other guy there? Nuno as well turned up and was part of the team. His knowledge of, I hope they do maybe a Portuguese culture quiz soon, and then Nuno can come back and distinguish himself. But music wasn't his forte last night. But I was able to answer quite a few questions, and we came in, I don't know, we were in the top 10, I think. We didn't make it to the top 3, but we had a great time. And we were we got told off at one point for talking too much, I think. And we were those annoying people yesterday. You know, when you get to a quiz and people aren't taking it seriously, well, we did take it seriously. And we had a good chat and a bit of a catch-up as well. So it was a really nice evening. Yes, before I dispense with San Martino de Porto and Silva Coast, let me just play you a little bit of a video. And I was expecting to set some music to this, so there might be some swearing and shouting in it, not thinking that you'd be ever hearing the audio track of this. But look at this. This is like it's like a cosmic near-death experience going through the tunnel at San Martino de Porto. There were some mysterious stones in there, which didn't look like they had dropped down from the roof of the tunnel. They looked too heavy to be washed in by the absolutely wild weather of the last week. They may have been put there by human beings, I don't know, for some reason, to maybe stem the flow. I don't know. I don't think you get to see too many of the mysterious Scooby-Doo stones, but you will see my transition through the tunnel. It's almost like being reborn this morning. If you don't want to be reborn this morning, look away now. I mean, look at the color of that sky. That's what was back yesterday. That's what I've been missing, that incredible Portuguese blue sky. And plenty there to patch the holes in sailor's trousers, as Deagle would say. Deagle's in this morning. So, yeah, there you go. San Martino de Porto, the Silver Coast. Great fun at the meetup. And thanks again to the Silver Coast volunteers. Oh, and I met Richard Allen, who is putting on that amazing event where he wants to bring Portuguese people together along with the expat community under the, not under the auspices, but in the spirit of togetherness and music and food. And I'm pretty sure we did a piece on that on the Gumper news desk a little while ago. He's got together with the community association. I met a few people last night, actually. It was very nice to meet some people whose names I knew, and I was able to put a face to the name and say hi last night. And Richard Allen was there, who's part of the, is it called Max Joint? That's a weekly musical thing, I think, at the Rex Bar in Obidos. And he's put this amazing, oh, here it is. Yes, we have got it. Let me just reiterate this, because it was great to see him last night. And we'll come to all your lovely greetings and maybe questions this morning. I'm not sure. Full of cold, Carl Munson. Full of excess, not excessive mucus and that sort of thing, but just a little bit of a busy and excessive day yesterday, shouting and singing last night, and a couple of drinks as well. So that was, I don't think I've got a cold or a constipation. I think it's more a matter of overdoing it. So sorry to inflict that on you this morning. So snotty tones this morning, but there you go. Oh, what happened to the background? Did you like it? In a sleek black there, or should we put some? We got to have that Portuguese blue I was talking about. There you go. That's much better. So over there on the Gumper news desk, Richard Allen, met him last night, who's behind this. Don't miss Communities Unite. Communities Unite's first event at the Capoeira Association, not Capoeira, although some Capoeira could break out at any moment. It's going to be a good do. Communities Unite is a group of musicians formed from the Portuguese and expat community whose aim is to bring people from different nationalities and walks of life together using music. This first event is free to attend, but if you would like to book a barbecue meal for €15, you will get chicken, ribs, rabbit and fries with rabbit and fries. What's that called? Come on, everybody. The unlimited with unlimited wine. What? Water and juice. If you would like to book for the barbecue, please contact me directly. The event is inside, so don't worry about the weather. And that's when we're experiencing extreme weather. And that was a concern. I'm sure it's going to be fine come the 5th of February. Fevereiro, from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock on that. That looks like a Sunday then to me. Let me just check that for you. Good day to come over to the Bay. Domingo, see. So, yes, that's a Sunday. The Capoeira Association, loads of bands and music there, as you can see on the screen. Let's all work together, they say, to bring our communities even closer while enjoying great music, food, and company. What a fantastic idea. And I'm going to put the Portuguese for this into the chat so that you can have some fun and work on your Portuguese as well. Beginning now, perca o primeiro evento da Comunidade Unidas na Associação Capoeira. So let me just put that into the chat now. It might break itself over a series of communications over there, but let's see how we get on with that. Okay, that is Barbecue and Blues, 5th of February. Richard Allen, what a legend. Looking forward to hanging out with you. That one, if not that one, then a future one, because I think the many are planned. But see what you can do to support that, if you will. Catherine Whitby's in this morning. Deagle, Milan, food, fun, and new friends. He's in. Love it. Good morning. That was a lovely hug you gave me yesterday, Milan. That is one of the highlights. Getting a Milan hug is quite the thing. You won't know what I mean until you experience it for yourself. It's one of those experiences. Pete enjoying my murky tunnel this morning, and middle-aged men with facial hair. Who is this? Who is a Facebook user? I think people who have this the cover of Facebook user are a little bit emboldened to make comments they might not otherwise make. Let me just have a look. Are you talking about the photo from the gathering last night? You may well be. Middle-aged men with facial hair. We'll take that. Thank you. My guest this morning from 9:30. So the Gumper gathering is extended, and we might look at a bit of the news this morning. MJ Silva is back. Maria João Silva, the author of Kids Don't Misbehave. Remember the conversation we had with her about that and her work that recognises a very different way of bringing children up here, or a complementary, I should say. Let's not be divisive about this. And I think there's a new book in the making, one has been published. We'll ask her about this, The Code of the Emotional Child. And she runs a course or two online and teaches Portuguese. So if you've got any Portuguese culture or language questions, let's put them to Maria João Silva. She does teach people. And you know, we have our Philomena, of course, who is the legend among us, who teaches people Portuguese as well. And I think it's important to have a range of teachers because people have different learning styles. See if you like the learning style of Maria João when we talk to her about that at 9:30 this morning. Between now and then, let's hang out and keep warm. It was one of the coldest nights last night that I think I've experienced in Portugal. When I got back from the do and took the dogs out, I only had, I think, maybe 2 or 3 layers on, and I really felt it. What a cold night it was last night. Is that how it was where you are? Let me just go scrolling all the way back then to the God Squad tip of the day. James was in first this morning. Coach Turner wasn't up at his usual 6 o'clock, maybe having a bit of a lie-in by his standards after childcare yesterday. How's the little one, Coach? Bom dia, campus. Feliz quinta a todos. Como tem passado? You're like up bright and breezy as well after a night out. Did you neck the white wine on the way home, James? And Coach Turner then, Bom dia todos, and Carl. A slight bit of an afterthought. Slightly less cold today in our part of the world, so no extra layers on my legs. Oh, yeah, he likes to wear tights underneath his trousers. You never know. When you shake... oh, excuse me a minute, I've made myself cough. When you meet Coach Turner for the first time, and he has an enigmatic smile on his face, a kind of cheeky grin, enchanté, he might say, as he squeezes your hand or gives you a hug. And he knows, and you don't, that he may well be wearing tights under his trousers. And he kind of gets the last laugh in that conversation. But they come to think of it, we don't really know what anyone's got on underneath their trouser, do we? Or pants, as you Americans call them. I don't know if I want to go there. And sorry to make you go there with that this morning. Slightly less cold then. I always like Thursdays. It means the week is nearly over. Wishing it away there in a kind of corporate way. Over hump day then, Coach Turner. Yeah, and your God Squad tip of the day then, opening bottles and jars is an important ability. So do you know what would be an even more important ability? Is for the human ingenuity to be able to create a jar that isn't impossible to open for old folks. And I'm not talking about you, Coach Turner. I get it. You know, look, we need to keep strong, don't we? But do we have to make it so damn hard for old people? Although I suppose it does give them the chance to connect with the rest of society, knock on a neighbour's door or call someone and say, can you come around and open this jar of pickled onions, please? You're not on the pickled onions again, are you, Grandma? No, we're not going to open that jar. Do you remember what happened last time? Grandma. Opening bottles and jars is an important ability. So keeping hands and wrists strong is good policy. There are many ways to keep the hands and wrists strong, I'm sure. Grab a tennis ball and squeeze it a few times in each hand, and it brings back happy memories. No, sorry, I'm adding quite a lot to the God Squad tip of the day this morning, aren't I? Let me start that again so that you get the pure God Squad tip of the day from Coach Turner. Opening bottles and jars is an important ability, so keeping hands and wrists strong is a good policy. Grab a tennis ball. Ask permission first. I'm adding again. Grab a tennis ball and squeeze it a few times in each hand. Then open a bottle. It's a pre-bottle opening workout with memories of love all on the court. Very good. Thank you for that one. I almost want to give that a rim shot, so I will. Any ball or squeezable device, will any ball or squeezable device works? Asked Pete, his mind going in a similar direction to mine this morning. Would the same be true of pelvic floor exercises? I don't think the opening jars with in that way would, well, it could be messy, couldn't it? I haven't seen it in Thailand, but is that what you're talking about? Bon dia, Carl and Gumbers from a beautiful 7 degrees Belfast, clear skies, cool winter sun. And at midnight, okay, solidarity for the workers here. At midnight, workers across Northern Ireland went on a 24-hour strike. Safe staffing and proper pay. It's not much to ask for, is it? I mean, it's a pretty pass when health workers, people helping us, looking after us, have to make an issue of being safe. I mean, for God's sake, come on. Safe staffing and proper pay. And yeah, pay, appropriate and useful pay. Come on, let's get this sorted. This is ridiculous, isn't it? We just don't need this. I mean, this is just a thick-headedness, isn't it? More than anything else, and pride and political footballs here. No need for it, I'm sure. I'm sick at home, Minister of Home Affairs at the picket line striking. So hoping they're keeping warm, and they're getting a lot of honks of the horns as people are passing by showing solidarity. And I think there is solidarity coming in. Yes, Coach Turner, solidarity to all the health workers in the UK. Three biceps to them. Sounds like Fraser. I do this morning with a bit of coldy top notes. Is that what's going on? Sounds like Fraser. I'm listening, caller. That's not my job. That's Mondays with James. And yes, most squeezable things of the right size will work. Wash your hands before you open my jar, Pete. Unfortunately, I have limited experience of pelvic floor exercises. However, you know that really strong jet picture we saw that Owen sent to us the other day? Have I still got that? I thought I might be keeping that. No, I've had to make room. There's a picture I've been wanting to show you for ages. I'm going to get around to that this morning. The origins of Bluetooth, or if you're from Devon in the UK, Bluetooth. Bluetooth. We'll come back to why it's called Bluetooth in a little while. Where were we? Pelvic floor. Oh, yes. And strong jets. We accused Owen, didn't we, of urinating into a tourist attraction, which he didn't do, I hasten to add. And it was admired by other gentlemen here. Strong jet, sir. Are there exercises for maintaining a strong jet? And I'm sorry if that is a little indelicate this morning, but it may be useful to these guys, the middle-aged men with the facial hair. Okay, let's move on. Thank you so much. We need to get a jingle back, don't we? I do have that one. I think we can do better. Did like the big chord at the end? No, only once. Thank you very much. And we did like the big chord, didn't we, at the end? A mashup there, sort of Star Wars vibes and Chariots of Fire. Thoroughly appropriate, of course. Because if you remember, do you remember those weighing scales? He broke his weighing scales. I don't know what he was doing on them. He was probably multitasking with some serious bouncing on his weighing scale. Snapped him in half, and then bought a new set of weighing scales that looked like Darth Vader's face. Which I think some people, a lot of Star Wars fans would like the idea of standing on Darth Vader's face, wouldn't they? To get a sense of their weight. Anyway, let's move on. Deagle, thank you, Coach Turner. It would be marvelous if courageous and kind were financially rewarded rather than the selfish and greedy. I echo Ian. Pete, solidarity to the health workers. Yes. Over here. And there are people striking. What occurred to me just recently is we need to get somebody on to talk about the political situation in Portugal, don't we? Because I have the cultural age, and I'm in two minds whether I do want to learn a lot more about Portuguese culture, because I really like being a foreigner. I've shared that with you now. I do like being a foreigner, as well as my intentions to integrate. I do like being a stranger in a foreign land, I'll be honest with you. And part of that is being in a cafe and not knowing what people are moaning about in the cafe. I sit there like a child with a grin on my face. I'm not wearing tights, by the way, while that's happening. I'm eating, a chicken pie and eating a sumo laranja natural. It is almost a meal, isn't it? It's halfway between a meal and a drink when you have a natural orange juice with lots of pulp in it. And then I'm sitting there and I'll maybe have a quick look at the paper, at the cartoon and the pictures. And I can't understand what people are moaning about around me. And that is a great condition to be in sometimes. And I'm also aware that we don't know here what's going on. People are on strike as well in Portugal. And there's all kinds of upheaval going on in the parliament. And we need somebody in. The last person I had in to talk about politics revealed himself to be a member of the Shager Party towards the end of the conversation. Someone else was lined up and we didn't have that happen. So if you know anyone who might like to talk about Portuguese politics from time to time, we can have a little top up, can't we? Understand? You know, the Shaker guy was pretty impartial in his presentation of what was going on, as in terms of how the Parliament works. But there are things going on at the moment I think we need to know about. Jean, hello to you. Hola, bon dia a todos. And Carl's murky tunnel first thing in the morning. Oh, Jean, I've got the recording from the Portugal Club. I'll make that available to you so you can catch up with what went on Tuesday. Looks like it could do with a bit of a clean. Yes, I'll pop up there and brush it out later on this morning, shall I, Pete? Food, fun, and friends, love it. And that is, that was what I was talking about. If you've just joined us, on the Gumper News Desk, it's Communities Unite with Food and Music. It would be helpful, would it not, if I put the link to that? So much news over there. If you go to goodmorningportugal.com, where, of course, you can support our endeavor in any way you like, using your time, talent, or treasure. If you're a bit short of a bob or two, you don't have to be coughing up the old readies. There are lots of ways to help out and truly make this the community contributed show, and you all do in some way. And if you want to extend on that or mix it up a little bit, go to goodmorningportugal.com for some serving suggestions. Where is this? Gumpers are doing it on the beach, fighting off wintertime sickness the Portuguese way. These are all our news items of recent times, but I'm trying to find this flipping Communities Unite with a food and music event. That's what I was just talking about. Copiar. Is anyone else using Portuguese on their desktop? Copiar endereço do link, which I am doing now. I'm putting in there. I do Zoom. If you want some fun watching somebody using Zoom in Portuguese in a high pressure situation, join us for the Expats Portugal webinar tonight, where I'll be joined by Christina from EI, talking about the digital nomad visa from 7:30 this evening. Priority for the Expats Portugal premium members. And if you do want to join up, actually, let me just give you that. If you're waiting for a prompt, yes, I mean to join Expats Portugal and get the benefits. They do all the great nuts and bolts stuff. We leave that to them over there on Expats Portugal to key you in, to connect you with all the top professionals for all the services you need for moving to Portugal. The what's what, as I call it. And me and Mrs. M are more about the what now and the what next in the migration journey. But if you've been meaning to update your Expats Portugal membership, and they do have some new, they've changed the pricing. So if you're here and you're looking to pay less than you did before, somebody who's already here in Portugal, you can do that now, as Astrid explained to us just recently, using this link. Do use that link because that will help us. We'll get a little bit of an affiliate kickback from that. Meet up with Expats Portugal, pick up an envelope full of cash once a year from the affiliate link. Only kidding. That's a kind of a technological metaphor. It's all done digitally. Isn't that great? Isn't it an amazing age we live in, where we're putting all our trust into the internet and digital money transfer for it only to be commandeered by the powers that shouldn't be? That's a grim picture. So sign up quickly so that can happen before that happens. We doomsayers talking about the next thing will be some sort of web-based thing. Shut up with all your doom mongering. Honestly, we've got a life to live and enjoy here. I shouldn't have mentioned it. Rethinking squeezing his potatoes. There's James squeezing his spuds in Ericeira. What are you doing in there? It's all right. Hope it long. Where was I? That was quite a self-disturbance there, wasn't it? It's worse than Ronnie Corbett, isn't it? When he used to sit on that chair and distract himself. That was a lot of distraction. Did I put the this? Did I even get to putting the link to that barbecue and food story? I distracted myself so heavily and badly there. Oh, I did. Well done, Carl. You did that as well. The barbecue, food, music, and getting together, expats and the local community in the Óbidos area. And it's a model that can be. That's the thing about that. Talked to Richard last night at the Do, and I said this is replicatable across the whole of Portugal and wherever expats find themselves in the world and can integrate a little bit better. There you go. That's done. Do come along. And that's what triggered me to say that: food, fun, and new friends. What else? What more do you want? A healthy nation is a wealthy nation, says Deagle. And there are too many governments who give their citizens second, third-rate help. Where's all the money going? I wonder. But it's good, isn't it, that eventually some of the government officials pay their tax bill. Find it somewhere. Oh, sorry, did I not pay that? Silly me. I should be setting a better example as a leader in government. Oh, here are those few millions I owe you. How far is that going to go? I wonder. Or will it, by the time it gets to where it's going, to the front line of healthcare, I wonder how much that's been reduced by. Because, of course, collecting tax and processing it costs a lot of money, doesn't it? And there's a few of those old consultants in the way, aren't there, who are friends of the people who pay those amounts of tax. We do need some change, don't we? I don't think it's a simple matter of just giving people who deserve a pay rise. We need a little bit of systemic change as well, don't we? Catherine, good morning. Bon dia. Today, Mr. Whitby and I go to EI for our second visit. Oh, do give them our love. For our second visit to begin our residency dance. That's a lovely way of putting it. Hide the silver. We're going to Portugal. Excellent. Oh, very good. And we do have, talking of those sort of sayings, those quaint sayings, I've got deep thought of the day for you from T-Duck in his absence. So let me just put that somewhere where I can cut and paste willy-nilly for you this morning. That's a good phrase, isn't it? Willy-nilly. Bon dia, alegria, gumpers. I will say to you in T-Duck's absence, that's his customary greeting to you, isn't it, of a morning. Deep thought this morning then: to claim power over what you do not understand is not wise, nor is the end of it likely to be good. That is true, is it not? And it refers to politics as well, I think, doesn't it? People claiming power and not really understanding what they're doing. They need our help and guidance, do they not? I don't think it's enough to simply turn up, to rock up at the ballot box and let them get on with it. Have we not learned that that is not probably the best way to proceed? Hola, Carlito, from Hoy pensei em suas palavras esta manhã, só quente, paz frio. I'm not reading that bit. Frio demais. You nearly got me saying that. Facebook, another Facebook user hiding under the cover of anonymity. I'm thinking that might be Frank. Frank will be with me tomorrow. We'll have some feel good. We'll have a Frankie Feel Good Friday tomorrow, and we're going to talk about East-West. The East-West axis and what might be left out of Western thought when it comes to the East. The World Cup prompted a lot of that, you know. So it'll be an interesting and extended conversation with you on the phone, hopefully. We will throw the phone lines open as well this morning. 913-590-303. Gene H, yay! Great being able to watch live finally. Wonderful. Hold on a minute. We're going to give you a Barcelo. We're going to horn you in. We're going to trumpet you into the country. You Gumper VIPs get these. You're going to get some Gumper dust and the horn this morning of welcome. You deserve that, Gene H. And some of this. Some Gumper dust to bless you on your arrival. A bit of Gumper dust for you as well. Catherine and Michael, good luck to you today with your journey to. You're not going to need luck, are you? I think it's all going to be taken care of. It's all going to be fine. Derivative of TGIF. I must have missed a bit of context there. Dougie's in as well. How you doing, Doug? Are you feeling any better? Francis, I need a little sip of my tea before it goes cold. Hold on a minute. Have I got any video to play you? I'm going to play a bit of video and give me a chance to blow my nose. As well, and finish my tea. I am going to play you. Yeah, I am going to blow my nose and blow my own trumpet. Here you go. Perfect. It's been really wonderful talking to you and getting a sense of your journey and how you engaged with Good Morning Portugal before and now coming to the meetup as well. So you know where we are on a Wednesday.
Yes, I do.
And you know where we are as a community, so make sure we stay in touch, please.
Well, thank you for your efforts in bringing this community together, because you make it easier, more comfortable, less stressful for all of us.
Oh, thank you.
By facilitating this.
Oh, that's lovely to hear.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Lovely to hear that. Thank you very much indeed. Best to unmute after that. I muted just to save you Some unholy sounds coming from this end. Thank you, Catherine, very much for that indeed. Much appreciated. Okay, we're all good now. Excellent at this end, at least for the time being. Doug, really enjoyed your program with Doc Thompson yesterday. Excellent journalism. And that's interesting because I don't see myself as a journalist. I see myself as an opinionated person who has his own live stream in many ways. And I do try and be balanced for sure, but I wouldn't call myself a journalist. But I thank you for that. Then appreciate that. Yeah, we did our best to have a balanced conversation yesterday. And I think we did. And thank you for everybody who sent messages after the show, remarking upon that. So yeah, thank you very much, Doug. I hope you're feeling better as well. Bon dia, Dougie. The doc is great. Nice to bust a few myths. And myth a few busts. Bon dia a todos. Love Maria's take on raising kids. Caught the replays. Think it's the first time I catch her live. Brilliant. So working and lurking, and you may have questions. We might be steered in that direction because it is fascinating, her view on raising kids. So we might talk quite a lot about that. But she is, of course, a Portuguese teacher as well. So whatever you want to know about Portuguese language and culture, do please ask those questions from 9:30 when she joins us. Now, did I send her? I did send her the link. Good. Okay, that's good to know. And we have a channel. We have a channel sponsor, folks. A fantastic conversation yesterday with our new channel sponsor, and just that's a little bit of a tease for the time being, but it's going to be great fun working with this fabulous new organisation and a particular individual, their leader. We were going to hit the ground. We are going to hit the ground running with that in the new month ahead for February. So it's been what a fantastic milestone for us. And looking forward to that. More news to come on that soon. Also, the financial show after the Expat Money and Finance podcast, of course, which I host on a Wednesday too. By Randy, enjoyed that. Let's do a sweepstake. We haven't resolved the last one yet. Let's do a sweepstake on what is on Carl's legs this morning. My guess is stockings and something frilly. That's not my taste. Do you know, I don't think a lot of men have tried stockings and suspenders, and I have dragged up a couple of times for panto, and I've enjoyed wearing a brassiere, which is a phrase, a description not many people use, but I do like to call it a brassiere. Which is not to be confused with wearing a brazier, because that could be very painful, although quite warm in this weather, and if you're on strike. But I have worn a woman's bra and stuffed it full of tights and goodness knows what else I could find. Oranges, I think, for one particular panto. Oh, no, I didn't. But never have I worn stockings and suspenders. And you know, I aim to be as transparent and open and honest with you as possible. So for a full disclosure there, not full disclosure of me wearing a brassiere, full disclosure of me saying that I've never worn stockings or suspenders myself. So no, straightforward denim this morning, and single denim as well, not the European double denim as liked in France and parts of America. Single dark blue indigo denim on my legs this morning. So not a good guess there, Pete. But that's not a bad idea going forward. Some people have already exposed themselves, as it were, with their under trouser habits, including the coach. Got something frilly? No, nothing frilly either. Nope, really, nothing frilly. I still don't know what the TGIF is here. From what did I miss from Jean earlier on this morning? All I saw was an hola bon dia. A todos this morning. Let's give you a little bit more from T-Duck then. We had that very Ursula K. Le Guin saying. We've got Portuguese saying of the day. We can get Maria João Silva to help us with this as well. And we'll have a Hugo Nuno as well. Oh, so a right old panning of the Francesina, which is the subject of our Hugo Nuno this morning. This soggy sandwich, sometimes covered in chips, it should not be celebrated as a national dish. You could shut up as well. You just don't understand. You fancy this and that, your 5-star blah de blah. Francesina, if you haven't tried it in the context of Portugal, you can't talk about it. You can't just go on looks. Far too much of this cookery business just goes on what things look like. You miss the point if you look through that lens with Portuguese food, quite frankly. Portuguese saying of the day, conselho de quem bem te quer, ainda que te pareça mal, escreveu. Write down the advice of him who loves you, though you like it not at present. Ooh, that is that's taking people's advice, isn't it? Although it may, yeah, people who love you might give you advice which you might not want right now, but if you write it down, it may become useful later. And I think we can all, with us here, in the more mature department, can say, yeah, well, there are the things that maybe the people who loved us and told us years ago makes more sense now if only we'd written it down. Okay, back in the day. And although some of it is reverberating and echoing through our minds as well, isn't it? What's that? Nearly made you read it. Yes, you did, but you didn't. I didn't, did I? And is that you, Frank? Paul Richards is in from the Algarve. Good morning from the Algarve. Sunny 10 degrees, but feels cold. Yeah, it feels cold, doesn't it? Seems colder than last year for the time of year. So true. And a deep thought from Nom de Plume this morning. No matter how open-minded one is, the ultimate truth lies beyond it. Yeah, because ultimate truth is not a thought, is it? Ultimate truth is a realization, an experience almost. If you can think it, I suspect it's not the truth, because as soon as you're thinking something, you're out of the flow, aren't you? You're holding on to something, you're rationalizing. So yeah, very good. I like that. A great deep thought from Nom de Plume. Who have I missed this morning? We've sprayed Gene H with Gumper Dust, who's finally able to watch live. Great to see here, Gene H. And so careful not to burn your hands with hot potatoes. Is that a deep thought? No, not deep enough for my liking, but good health and safety advice. Hola, bon dia, alegria. Mark is here. One of our blogs, if you go to our blog page, are listed as a notable blog. How you doing, Mark? Feel free, for those who don't know you, to put your blog link into the... If you can't put links in, some platforms aren't letting you do that. Put it in phonetically. Find a way of doing it, mate. And people who are here who do things like blogs and YouTube channels, please share what you do mercilessly. It's important to get the word out. Okay, nearly made you read it. No, you didn't. Antonio F is also here this morning. Got here as fast as I could. Regarding hot potatoes, as a joke, Portuguese say it's easy to speak German. All you have to do is stick a hot potato in your mouth and speak. Shall I try that one? Meaning with a Bratkartoffeln, which I think is potato. Would there be a heißer Bratkartoffeln? It doesn't sound a little bit like I'm eating a hot potato, doesn't it? Gefinish leicht beschranken. Yes, guten Tag. Wie geht es Ihnen? I see what you mean. Now that's weird. I was typing my deep thought as Carl typed his. The synchronicity is off the scale this morning. Bon dia to you, Pluminia. Pluminia. Pica-pow. Don't know why I said that. I know Victoria likes a certain gentleman to say picanha in the mornings. Hola, bon dia, kids, from a sunny but frosty Portimao this morning. And I feel better. So, Dougie, morning to you, Victoria. And Dougie does feel better when tuning into the GMP. The sunny Algarve makes me feel better. Blooming chilly, though. But yeah, getting better. 3 more days of antibiotics to go. Then it's a no holds barred visit to the cafe bar, I suspect, as well. I think it's okay. Don't Portuguese antibiotics allow you to have one aguardente as part of the protocol? I think that's how they were designed. Good job, Pfizer. Hola, Antonio. Tudo bem? From Victoria to you. Let's go to that Hugo Nuno this morning. And a visit to Porto is never complete without one of its iconic dishes, which will be the francesinha, the king of sandwiches. However, francesinha is Portuguese for little French woman, I believe, or little French girl, the francesinha. And yeah, I will not tolerate people knocking or slagging off the francesinha. It's all about context, isn't it? And talking about ranting, is anyone familiar with Tony Bryant? I'm going to put this to the community here. Tony is very vociferous and direct and gets himself into all sorts of trouble. And I think his name, Tony Bryant, even has the word rant in it, doesn't it? There may be a really good anagram of Tony Bryant or Anthony Bryant, because I've offered him. Late last night, I saw what he was writing on social media, and I was thinking, I've got to give this guy a blog, and let's deal with it. Let's let him vent, and let's see if we can help him. So therein lies a possibility. And yes, so all this ranting, certainly about francesinhas, just stop it, please. Francesinha needs to be consumed and tried and enjoyed at the right time in the right context. And don't try to be fitting it into some sort of hoot or haughty cuisine bracket. You miss the point if you do that. It is an experience that should be enjoyed rather than sort of setting a benchmark of what it should be and it failing that. Like people, enjoy us for what we are, not what you think we should be. How about that? There you go. Rant over. Probably not. And it's not really a rant, is it? I mean, Bryant is a ranter for sure, self-proclaimed. And so has anyone seen him? And do they think we should maybe give him a little spot on the show as well, or at least a blog where we can have a bit of a giggle with helping him out and reducing his blood pressure? He's got a lot of complaints about Portugal, and he doesn't mind people getting stuck into him and what he's saying, which is what I like about how he goes about it. Okay, so there you go. Francesina is Portuguese for little French woman. There's more to come. There are dad jokes. Thank you so much for these in your absence, T-Duck. Featuring tequila, alligators, and iPhones and homeless people this morning. So actually, it got cut off. What did, Carl? The Francesina Ugo Nuno this morning. So let me just make sure we've got all of that to give you. Yes, I got cut off at a little French womb, it said. So let me just give you the rest of that this morning. So little French woman, Francesina. And why is Porto's iconic dish named after another country? Well, I hear you ask. I'm glad you asked. It was created by Portuguese immigrants in France who encountered a snack called the croque monsieur, and they decided to take it to the next level, and they certainly did. Excuse me, a croque monsieur, I believe, is their kind of tosh de mista, isn't it? And that both the tosh de mista and the Francesina have taken things to a new level. So well done, the Portuguese, for taking French classics and improving upon them. But that's not to say that there is anything wrong with a croque monsieur. In its environment, it's just the right thing. I remember driving from UK as a teenager. My mate was doing the driving. I think I was too young at the time, but we drove from England down to Port Grimaud in the south of France, and along the way we enjoyed croque monsieurs and little hostelries. What are they called? Auberges, with bed bugs and stuff like that. Happy times. Traveling through Europe and France. So there you go. There's the Francesina done properly. The Portuguese going to France and improving on a French classic and bringing you the Francesina. Okie dokie. Let's get back into that chat and see what you're doing. Maria João Silva joining us at 9:30, where you can on the phone as well and ask your questions about the French. No, not the Portuguese language and culture. What am I talking about? So yes, she's to come at 9:30, and we can also ask her about her views on raising kids as well, which are very interesting, as Francis has pointed out. Our very own Francesina Francesino, I should say. Sorry, Francis, this morning. Okay, let's get back into the chat. Dougie's feeling better. That's great. Antonio F is here. For some reason, thankfully, it's Thursday. Never really took off as an abbreviation. As an abbreviation. Good. If you judge a curry by the way it looks, you'd never eat it. I will try the sloppy sarnie. Have you never had a Francesina? Can't believe that, Doug, in all your time here. Can't imagine why. Antonio F. Yeah, right. And hola, bon dia, feliz quinta-feira from Simon. Portuguese coming on nicely. Excellent stuff. Well done. And PT Country Bear also here. Go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the US and try and tell them a sandwich can't be part of cuisine. You're going to smack in the face. Exactly. And Gerard, thank you, Marcus, for that. And can you explain something else to me? Talking with folks at the meetup yesterday, Francesina loyalists unite. Yes, the FLU political party, the Francesina loyalists united there. Wow, I think we could have some fun with that acronym, could we not? I think somebody might be going to work on that already. Marcus, yes, I was having a chat with somebody about grits. Now, come on. I can understand why people criticize grits, but then I realized it's not grits, is it? It's what you do with them that matters. It's a bit like the torrada here when people try and say, it's only toast, Carl. What is the big deal? Your Jenga-sized toast. And it's about the amount of butter and getting the toast to the right level of doughiness, but not crisping it up too much. and absolutely laden with butter. Torrada. You can't just call it toast. And I'm sure grits in the same way. If you just eat a spoonful of grits, understandably, you will think, well, what is that all about? They've got to be seasoned, haven't they? Again, with butter or salt or something else from the breakfast buffet. Exactement, perhaps, is what's being said here by Marcus. Bondi, a little bit late. Hope everyone is doing well. We're pretty good here, actually. How are you doing, Gerard? How's that dental work doing? And sorry to hear about your run-in with the olive. Bonjour. Oh, sorry. Bon dia. Yes, exactly, Leslie Smith. Careful. And hope you enjoy the glorious day, everyone. Looking forward to new discoveries on our land today. Very good. So busy day for you by the sound of it, Pete. And what beautiful sunshine. So getting out there and doing a few jobs on the homestead. Very good. On the Quinta. Had the world's toughest steak in Angoulême. I asked the waiter, is this a croque, monsieur? As in the shoes. Yes, we get it, Doug. Did you really have a tough steak in Angoulême? Ranchesina is purely Portugal, in my opinion. Yes, you see, I think Francis, talking of his namesake dish in some ways, feeling my pain at seeing that stupid meme about the Francisina. I know it's regional, but can only associate it as part of my Portuguese saudade experience in Porto there. I long for the day I eat one again. What a lovely moment. I hope you remember, and you might not because you might be so keen. Just as a randy sailor comes into port, you might be a hungry Francis feasting upon a Francisina and forgetting to take that photo. But what a moment that's going to be. Cheese grits, shrimp and grits, etc. It's no different than polenta or pasta or rice. Exactly. If someone presented you with a bowl of common or garden pasta with no sauce on it, or a chunk of polenta. Although I did boiled plain rice, I do think is quite nice sometimes, but maybe that's just my upbringing. But yeah, thank you for that. It's a bit of context there, PT Country Bear. Glad to hear it, Gerard. Hope you are blinding people with your pearly whites like Richard Hammond soon enough. Yes. For sure. Let's have a look at those papers then this morning. Let's go over to the Portugal News and the Portugal Resident and see what's happening there this morning. And I'll do my best not to depress you too much. Let's see. Let's start with the Portugal News. And I've been in communication with the founder of the Portugal News, and we'll be having him on the show soon as well, Paul Luckman. I'm looking forward to that. Portugal's risk against Germany drops by 30%. What's that about? It's a news hot potato, everybody. And yes, to keep a close eye, Carl, on the adverts that come up on the Gurgle. It does feel like it's Gurgle sometimes, doesn't it? But Google serve up the most ridiculous adverts to me. What's this one? Algarve dental implants. That's some clever technology, isn't it? Looking at my British teeth. Google, it looks at the British teeth on the algorithm. There's a Brit. Look at the gaps in that. You drive a bus through there. Serve up some ads for dental implants. Get your VAT refund before departures at Faro Airport. I've only flown through there once, I think. So that's some good digital information in the repository. Anyway, sorry, I haven't come on here to look at adverts. I'm just making sure there aren't too many Viagra ads or whatever else they tend to give me. Pile cream or whatever. Slippers, Shackleton chairs, that sort of thing. Are they called Shackletons? Portugal's risk against Germany drops by 30%. Yields on treasury bonds continue to rise. Ooh, but the risk perception of investors in Portugal vis-a-vis Germany has plummeted. That's a bit specialist, isn't it? That's more like it. Luxury homes in the advertising. Hearing for those born in Portugal but are not Portuguese. That's interesting. Let's have a quick look at that then, shall we? Green wine exports increase. Steady on. Not to the cost of people in this country, I hope. Don't be exporting any of that good stuff. Hearing for those... What's this? Okay. Not now. Hearing for those born in Portugal but are not Portuguese. What's this about then? Parliament has unanimously approved the hearing proposed by the PCP of the Cultural Associação Moinho da Juventude to obtain clarification on citizens born in Portugal who are unable to acquire Portuguese nationality. How's that? And it must be pretty grievous for them to see lots of other people coming to Portugal but not being able to get their own citizenship. This request was approved by the Parliamentary Committee on Constitutional Affairs, Rights, Reforms and Guarantees and had the favourable vote of all the parties present. So cross-party support then across the coalition. We all know that there are citizens born in Portugal to parents who were already in Portugal at the time of birth who live here some reaching the age of 40 and something. I was able to meet one of these cases who have no nationality. They have no nationality, but neither do they have any documentation because their situation is completely irregular, stressed the communist deputy of the who is Alma Rivera in the presentation of the text. So that's it. Nationless people who must see themselves as Portuguese, lived here all their lives, but don't have the documentation to prove it. And I suppose with that sort of situation, the longer you leave it, the harder it gets, so to speak. Stop it. So yes, quite right too. That's a very interesting little angle there with us lot coming to Portugal and those who've lived here and truly Portuguese by descent and extraction. Portuguese, but not the paperwork to prove it. There you go. Good story. Portugal news. What else? Is the cold weather going to continue? I think we should look at that, should we not? Let's see what else catches our eye there before we go there. Portuguese told to prepare for a difficult year with a picture of the Bombeiros. I'm not going to look at that. Green wine exports increase. Coldplay ticket touts arrested. I see that we've got 50 is coming to Algarve, right? 50 Cent is coming to Algarve. Madonna's coming. Coldplay ticket touts arrested. You'd think that 50 Cent would be probably either have a new inflationary name or a cut price kind of austerity name, wouldn't you? Like 25 cents or the new inflationary 75 cent playing in the Algarve soon. Are you going to be going to see Madonna? Like a Virgin was one of the tracks that came up last night. I don't think she's going to sound like that anymore. Okay. And yes, people are singing Still a Virgin. People, you know who you are. Where is the cheapest place to buy a property in Portugal? New Lisbon speed limits. Do we think that's going to work? I wonder. And Portuguese Navy accompany Russian ships. Make love, not war, hopefully into Porto to get new supplies of port and just break out with the Entente Cordiale, stop the warring, show them some Portuguese hospitality, and let's be done with that nonsense, eh? Emergency hospital patients up 25% in the Algarve. Okay, and first ever Portuguese production up for an Oscar as well. I wonder which one was that in the Portugal news. Let's look at that. Which one are we going to go for? Please give advice to remove ice from your car. Yes. But make sure you put your yellow jacket on before you step out of your vehicle to do that by the roadside, because they might give you a ticket. Is it a cunning ruse, I wonder? Is the cold weather going to continue in Portugal then? Let's take a look at that, shall we? Excellent stuff. And 913-590-303 is the number to call if you're going to call into the phone line. And again, yes, when I was talking to Richard Allen last night about coming onto the show to talk about his Food, Fun and Friends initiative, it's the perfect moment as well to call in with some news from your part of Portugal as well. You don't have to stay on topic necessarily. Who else? No one else does. I don't. So why should you? Is cold weather going to continue in Portugal? The warmest temperatures will be on the islands this week. Good time to fly out to Madeira or to the Açores. Lisbon, Saturday is to be sunny and bright with highs of 12 degrees and lows of 5. On Sunday, there will be an increase in cloud cover and temperatures are to fall to highs, falling to a high of 11 degrees and lows of 3 degrees at night. The following week to be very similar with no chance of rain and light winds. Excuse me for a moment. The north, cold weather is set to continue with sunny spells and intermittent cloud over the weekend and minimum temperatures of 0 degrees. Zero. The minimum temperatures are to remain at around 0 the following week, so the cold weather is set to continue, while daily highs are to average 15 degrees. Get ready for that differential there. You will have 5 layers on in the morning when you wake up, including, and plus a duvet and a counterpane. And then by lunchtime, you'll be in 15 degrees with a beautiful clear sky with the sun on your back. Isn't this an amazing country? The central clear skies are forecast for Saturday when temperatures are to peak at 10 degrees and drop to lows of 2 degrees. On Sunday, cloud cover is to increase slightly with daily highs of 10 degrees and nightly lows of 1 degree. I do feel sorry for anyone who's suffering from a nightly low right now. On Monday, thermometers are to drop to -1 degree with northeasterly winds. And in the south, The blue skies are set to continue throughout the weekend. However, it will be feeling chilly with daily highs of 13 and nightly lows of 4 degrees. From Monday, cloud cover is to increase slightly, and temperatures are set to rise of highs of 15 degrees and lows of 5. So there you go. Cold weather will continue, although without the rain by the sound of it, and we'll get some of that lovely blue sky that we love about Portugal, and a bit of warmth and vitamin D as well. Actually, quite a nice situation, climate to sit out in, isn't it? When the air is cold, but you can still feel the warmth of the sun. I'm sure there's a Japanese word for that. So there you go. That's the Portugal news roundup. Let's see what you're saying about that in the chat. Watch out, Lord Gilchrist is here. Order! He's in the House of Lords, of course, not with the Commons. Oh God, no. Yeah, cheesy grits. And stringy steak in Angoulême. That's a lovely part of the world, though, isn't it? I tell the truth and shame the devil. Wow. Is that your journalistic little watch phrase there? I tell the truth and shame the devil. We need more of that in journalism for sure. Haven't seen any news for a month now. I don't miss it. Sorry, Jared. I am trying to focus on the more upbeat and useful stuff rather than all the doom mongering. I will never understand great ingredients used in a way that only a hungry 12-year-old could come up with. Give me chamfana or javeli stew. Look, there are so many days in the year, Pete. You can have them all. You don't have, it's not either or here. But look at that review of the Francesina. Great ingredients used in a way that only a hungry 12-year-old could come up with. I think it's also a bit of a munchy meal as well, isn't it? Probably. Or a hangover cure as well. Come on, Pete. June, get with the Francesina program. June, Motley Crue, 23rd of. Alice Cooper and Def Leppard are in Lisbon. Oh, we're loving the music news. This is great. Cheers, Pete. Booked my tickets this week. Should be good fun. Didn't have you down as a rocker. And I wonder how loud will that be? I mean, they're all deaf anyway, aren't they? Those band members, I suspect, by this time. But yes, Sheffield guys, Def Leppard. Why go to a Coldplay gig when the same experience can be had in any lift? Oh, he's being a little bit challenging this morning, isn't he? With the food and the music. Can you imagine that? The Room 101 for Pete, having to eat a Francesina while listening to Coldplay. I heard a brilliant definition of Coldplay, which I cannot possibly tell you right now. Nisa in Alentejo is the municipality with the cheaper housing, according to Idealista. Living in the Alentejo, what could possibly be wrong with that? Frosty lawn in the city last night. Thank you, Lord Gilchrist, for your view from the window. Were you shouting at people to get off it, your frosty lawn? I imagine you were. Morning, Andy. We have done so much clearing, you won't recognise the place. Have a burn due on Saturday if you fancy some marshmallows. If you want to go and toast your conkers over there. Melted marshmallows. There is an art to that, isn't there? Just a little bit of caramelization on the outside with a molten liquid inside. And I look at this. It's the Marmite meal of the Portuguese cuisine. I never ate a good Francesina. Where are they going wrong, Francis? Do tell. Okay, let's go. Before we have Maria João Silva join us for the last half hour, excellent stuff as well. Thank you for your pictures, Bill and Marcus there. A beach cleanup. Do you know what? I'm going to save these. We've got your beach cleanup. I'll tell everyone that you were at the Boni Beach, Praia do Osso, at Baleia yesterday. We met a guy picking up garbage. Curious if any Gumpers might be interested in meeting there for a cleanup day. Wonderful. Yes. Gumper dust for you guys. So that's great. At Osso Beach yesterday. And thinking of organising a cleanup because we are part of a campaign, are we not? Excellent stuff. This is the campaign in question, and this was originated by Michael Whitby here, or the Whitbys. Let's give the whole household, Catherine as well, due credit for this. That's Sesimbra, and that's Michael inviting all Gumpers to do the same where they live. A year ago, when we stayed in Celio de Porto, we walked to San Martino each day and look at the sort of garbage they were able to pick up along the way there. Dog loves it too. The invitation then is beach cleanups all over the country. So, well, not all over the country, where there are beaches, obviously. Although river beaches would count as well, wouldn't they? So, yes, if you want to get involved with that, let's start a little blog. And please put it on the Gumper map. When you organise that, Let's make it a meetup. Bairandi is here and will be delighted to help and host you on the Gumper map. It's 8:31. Let's give her a nice round of applause because she now joins me on the screen. What's good about your morning? Well, Maria João Silva just got here. That's what's good about our morning here. Good morning to you. Hola, bom dia, alegria.
Bom dia, alegria. Thank you for having me again.
Well, it's great to see you here. You join us in quite the controversy. But people are falling out about the francesinha, Maria, saying it's not a very good dish.
Oh, I'm not a fan. I gotta
as
admit,
well.
I'm not a fan.
You're a vegetarian, aren't you? It's a disaster, is it not, for the vegetarian?
Yes, the only thing that I don't like, to be honest, because there's a lot of different flavors in francesinha.
Yes.
It's that the sauce, because it's like not some sauces are shrimp flavored, and I'm not a fan of seafood, so that's the only thing I don't like.
They've got a shrimpy sauce. That's odd, isn't it? Because it's mainly meat, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's mainly meaty. So then to introduce a fishy flavored sauce on top of that is quite
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is a
Not a
vegan
fan.
vegetarian nightmare. Let's be honest. There's all kinds of things in there. Sometimes hard to discern what they are. To be fair. So yeah, I can imagine that being difficult. And also sometimes a beery or a winey sauce in there. So quite
Yes.
alcoholic sauce.
Yes.
Chips and gravy though. Chips and gravy. That's quite nice, isn't it? If you're a vegetarian, I remember that from my vegetarian days. But there you go. Maria João Silva, not a fan of the francesinha.
Not a fan. Have you
Okay,
tried? Have you
I
tried
love
francesinha?
it. I do like it. I mean, you've got to be hungry, I think, because it's a big old dish and it is a food combining nightmare. Anyone who observes correct and appropriate food combining is going to struggle with everything that's going on in there. So you need to lie down probably
That's
after.
true.
You do. What are your favorites? You're here to talk to us about the Portuguese language and the culture. And I notice you've got a new book and you're running courses. Let's talk about all of that this morning. So good to have you back.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
What are your favorite Portuguese dishes? And what's good for vegetarians? Because that's a great question for people coming over who are vegetarian. How do they interface with the Portuguese culture and food as vegetarians?
Well, Portuguese food is very much veggie based. You see, even traditional food, like imagine the big traditional dishes like feijoada, for instance. Have you heard about it?
Oh yeah,
feijoada.
Yes.
Okay, that's plant based. You just put the meat, some pork meat or beef, but the basis is like cabbage and carrot, at least when my mom does, and the chorizo, it has the chorizo. Okay, but you can replace for vegetarian chorizo, for instance, because I know there is somewhere definitely for sale. Yes, I haven't tried it. Or tofu, but the base, it's veggies and beans. You also put beans in the dish. What else? Let me see more Portuguese dishes. Well, not the beef.
Can I make a little suggestion in there? Because I'm not too keen on the meat substitutes. So
I know, me neither.
Yeah, because the fruit and veg is so good. The produce is so good, isn't it? If you go to the daily markets, and what I have noticed here is cogumelos, the mushrooms are really special, and you can get shiitake mushrooms, and you can get those long ones that if you slice them, it's almost like a steak. Now, if you were to make chunks of shiitake mushrooms or cut them in such a way that they would go in the feijoada, I think that would be a really nice compliment in a feijoada.
That's true. Oh, that's so true. Yes, that's a great idea.
That. Might have to have a go at that.
Oh, yes.
For anyone who wants to replace the chorizo there. Yes. Sorry to interrupt, but I just
no. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what else? What else would you recommend on the vegetarian front?
Well, I have like a blog. It's more of an online magazine where I have lots of recipes. vegetarian and vegan recipes. And because, for example, people struggle a lot with lentils because they feel that they are so bland. But there are
Yes.
so many things that you can do with the lentils that it's so delicious. Like
Yes.
even donuts. I make donuts
What?
with, yes, lentil donuts. I
No
just
way.
came up with that a few months ago,
Did
and
you?
it's like delicious,
Oh,
delicious.
why don't I know about that? Where is? I mean, I think
You
you're
don't?
well, you're a Renaissance woman, and you're so prolific
Oh,
on so many fronts that it's hard to keep up with you. And I haven't kept up with that. If I'd have seen that, I'd have made a note and found out more about lentil donuts. Where can we find out about that? Which blog is this?
I haven't yet put that recipe up,
Yes.
but it's called
Yeah.
mysweetkitchen.blogspot.com,
Okay.
and kitchen without the e.
Okay. My kitchen without the e. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
mysweetkitchen.blogspot.com.
I'm going to see if
Because
I can find that while you're telling us
it's
more. So,
connected. Yes.
how do you make lentil donuts?
Oh my god, it's so good. You chop onions.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a
Have you kind
donut.
of raw food?
Yeah. Okay.
No, there are no donuts still there.
Okay.
Not the donuts.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were telling us about lentil donuts then, and we're beginning with
Oh,
chopping.
I'm gonna. Yes. You chop onions, and
Yes.
then you grate some carrot
Uh-huh.
and some cabbage, whatever you have. It's like one of those whatever you have in the pantry dishes.
What's that called in Portuguese? There's a word for that, isn't there? Isn't there a little phrase for bringing the bits together from the pantry or the fridge?
Oh, restos,
Yes.
like
Yes.
the leftovers.
The remains. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it can be that, but it can be like fresh from, you see, it can
Yeah.
be something that remained from yesterday, and then
Yes.
you mix and match again.
Okay.
But or you can do with fresh onion, fresh garlic. Um, yes, that's it.
Okay. There it is. It's beautiful on the screen. I'll bring it on. I'll show people
Oh,
some
thank you,
as well.
thank you.
That's fantastic. Okay. Well,
That's one
carry
of the courses that I host. It's nutrition, smart nutrition, and
on.
detox. Yes.
Yes, very good. All right, I'll bring that.
Um, that's
Brilliant.
part. Yes, that's part of my main magazine, which is called Silver Magazine.
Okay. All right, and news about detoxing there. Tiny
Yeah,
little pieces of vegan heaven there. The super detox bowl as well. Some lovely pictures there. Some
oh, thank
beautiful
you.
grub. Fantastic. Okay, so that's one of the things you do. Okay, I have to do my best now to make sure we represent you correctly, because also, sorry, did we get to the end of that recipe? I think I interrupted you
Not
so much.
yet. It's fine. It's
Go on,
fine.
carry on, carry on. Sorry.
No, it's fine. So you chop the onions, the garlic, if you like garlic. You chop it, the cabbage, the carrots, um, and then what you do, it's kind of a paste, but with little bits of every veggie, so you can feel them. Okay, and then you take it to the stove. You mix a little bit, just a little bit of olive oil, and then a little bit of flour, not much, just to combine, or an egg. Okay,
Yeah.
to combine
It's
everything.
like combining. Yeah, got it.
And then you add the lentils there, and you season them with a little bit of salt and pepper. If you like peppers, you can mix the peppers there.
Yeah.
So salt, pepper. If you like turmeric, you can add because it's
Yes.
anti-inflammatory and
Very
it's
good food.
great to, yes, to
True food.
consume.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Definitely.
just a little bit so it doesn't add much flavor. And then if you have like those donuts making machines, or a tray to make donuts or to make cupcakes, whatever, whether
Mm.
it is cupcakes or donuts, if you have the machines, you put the mix in the machine to make the donuts. Okay, and then you press, leave it for a little while, and then you have those beautiful donuts.
And to deep fry or shallow
Not
fry.
fry, not
Okay.
fry. You either have those machines or you put them in the oven,
Okay.
in those trays there are some trays that are to make donuts that have those
Yeah.
roundy,
Okay.
If you don't have them, it's okay. You can use the um, the normal cupcake
Yes. Cupcake
um,
holder. Yeah. The
tray.
bun
You
tray.
take
Yeah.
you take them to the oven and you leave them there to cook, and then oh my god, it's game changer. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Okay. All right. That
And then
sounds great.
you can eat that at breakfast, lunch, you know, as a snack everywhere, any way you can imagine. You can eat those donuts. It's
Thank
just
you very
oh
much
my
for that.
god.
Wasn't expecting that this morning. I wonder if you could roast them on an open fire. Pete is saying to Bayrandi, hope you all smell smoky. Yeah, I did some cooking on my BioLite stove yesterday out in the garden. And so I definitely smell smoky. It's quite interesting, isn't it, to have that little it's almost like a ritual, isn't it? Cooking over an open flame.
Yes.
Love the. Actually, I'll do a little ritual. We're gonna feature Andy's video of him doing a burn yesterday. So if you've got any intentions or anything you want to let go of, we'll have a ceremonial burn up after the show to go out with today. If you want to chuck anything metaphorically on that fire, the video of which Andy has sent us, we can do that after the show. Love the burn,
Oh,
hate the registration, but we would never waste the time of the bomberos. Yeah, you've got to let people know if you're having a bonfire here in Portugal. Morning, Pete. It's the same here. I finished the to-do list and started cleaning and clearing up the workroom. Very good. Hope you haven't been streaming indoors, though. Francesinhas are delicious when drunk. There's a serving suggestion. And Maria, look, you've been drawn into this debate here. Antonio F saying to you, "Bom dia, Maria João."
bom dia, Antonio.
A Portuguese Lord Gilchrist saying, "See, Maria agrees. You've been drawn into this. Sorry to have you walk into that this morning." The Francisina sauce is great. Saves a lot of time and worry when you're required to. Oh, Peter, and I'm glad I've never had a fish flavored one. It might have been put off. So the fish flavored sauce not going down well at all. Winter bonfires. I love those outdoors smells. Some smells are best kept outdoors. It's true. Bon dia from Chicago,
Bom
from
dia.
Durham this morning. Morning, David. Good to see you here. Our Portuguese mate recommended the big half-baked ham and cheese bread at Mercadona. No, that's not Portuguese cuisine. If it's Mercadona, is it? Covered with their francesinha sauce, cooked in the oven, tasty. Imagine that tasted great. But they're doing the Portuguese classics in Mercadona. I mean, I don't know how we Portuguese people feel about that. The Spaniards coming over and doing that here. I've probably least said best as soon as mended. We have a speak class today in Fundão with Cindy and Louise. We have been practicing our key phrase. Can Maria help us with pronunciation? Is he making fun here, Maria? I think he might be because I'm seeing urina in there. But can you help Pete with a bit of pronunciation here, given that you're here to help us with the Portuguese language and culture this morning?
Oh my god.
Should we not read that out?
Well.
Oh my god! You say. What's he up to? This naughty man.
That C word
Yes.
after K.
Yes.
Well, that's
We move on.
it's not a curse word, but it's kind of a strong word for pooping.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, are we talking about composting here, possibly?
Well,
I hope so.
I get. No, because we say to poop, we say fazer cocó. It's like the usual thing that everybody does.
Useful stuff this morning. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. The CAGA word
Yes.
is like a strong kind of a
Yes.
curse word for
For the waste product.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Okay.
I can help you.
We can work out. But I don't understand what Louisa is trying to do here. So she's trying to separate her. I think it is a humanure composting experiment here. Yes, if it's yellow, let it mellow kind of thing.
That means oh my
I'm
god.
so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria João.
I'm sorry. It's fantastic.
What are they like?
This means this is our friend Louisa that
Yes.
poops and urinates separately. That's what
Well, you never know. I mean, honestly, though, you never know when you're going to need that. in everyday conversation, right?
That's true. That's true. But
Thank you.
we usually don't say CAGA word. We say que faz cocô.
All right, okay. Thank you so much for your help with that this morning. Excellent. Sounds like the perfect breakfast. I think we're going back to, well, I don't know if that's a lentil donuts or francesinha. It could be either, couldn't it, this morning?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I've been told by a Portuguese friend, so here we go, that if it's the name of a place, no masculine, feminine article is necessary at David Durham. So is this him being in Chicago? Is it de Chicago or do Chicago? I guess that's the greetings from Chicago. So how should David have said that correctly? Of course, not having on with a B, but bon dia de Chicago.
With an E, yes.
And you do need the article. So you wouldn't just say bon dia Chicago, would you?
That would be if you were hosting a show in Chicago, you would say bon dia Chicago, which is good morning Chicago.
Yes.
You see?
That's another possibility for a live stream there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
If it's from Chicago, it's the Chicago. We never say, we say do in other contexts. When it's from a place, for example, if it was Algarve, you would say bon dia do Algarve.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Excellent stuff. And I'm so glad I've been getting that right when I say Hola, boa noite, Portugal. If I'm doing a live stream, that's good to know, a good confirmation. Now, we have another, you can answer so many questions about so many different things, Maria João. Now, this if someone is making the transition to vegetarianism, this is another issue. Pete is a rather indelicate fellow, and you may get used to him, you may not. Lentil donuts sound all right if you are single, but a disaster under the duvet if you have a partner. Now, what I think he's referring to there is sometimes the after effect of eating lentils, because I thought that's what you were going to say when you said earlier on, people don't like lentils because they're very bland. There's also this part of it, isn't it? Now it's the lectins, isn't it, in lentils that cause wind, and what you have to do is cook them thoroughly, right? And then this isn't going to be such a problem in the relationship.
Yes. Although you can use lentils to make lentil flour, which is amazing.
Yes.
You can, with that magic wand.
Yes.
How do you call that in English? You call it magic wand?
A mouli, or I call it the didgeridoo. If I'm in the kitchen, I say, "Have you seen the didgeridoo, Mrs. M?"
Okay, wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
But I don't think, but lentils are not as strong as beans in that sense.
Okay, so the same
in
maybe
the wind sense.
Yes. Okay. And is that vento, or is there a different word for that kind of wind?
Vento.
Yes.
Gás. Gás. You can say gás.
So faz gás. Is that right?
Faz gases.
Faz gases. That's a lovely phrase. Well, and also, desculpa, I think you should say as well, right? And not com licença, because that would be different. That would be asking for permission. All right. Sounds similar to onion. We never knew we'll be talking about this morning, did we? Sounds similar to onion bhaji's. Yes, similar. Very good. Got here as fast as I could. Yes, it's usually de, but in some cases it's do, like Porto or Algarve. Thank you very much, Antonio. Jim White's here, everybody. Speaking of donuts, in Hawaii, there are hot malasadas that come from Madeira or the Azores. What is that here? So does that ring any bells, the malasadas?
I never heard of this. What is this?
Okay, interesting. It's how the Portuguese have exported their food around the world. Now, here's the thing that's in some strange way connected, because we didn't plan this. But talking of wind, Portuguese donuts are farturas, aren't they?
Yes, or churros.
Or churros.
Churros with double R.
Okay, yes, of course. Churros.
You know those? It's the farturas, but like condensed. Yes, they're very condensed.
Okay, so you can have farturas, which is not to be. You see, if you're at a supermarket, I hope you can help us with this, with the pronunciation. You might be at a supermarket and you want the bill, and you'll be asking for a fatura instead of a fartura.
Oh, yes.
That's right. So an expat could be in a supermarket and they're saying, fatura, faz favor. And the person said, well, they're over there in the bakery department. What? I need my receipt. Why are you pointing me back to the bakery section? So it's very similar, isn't it? Fatura.
Yes, it is.
Okay, be careful,
Yes.
guys. Okay,
You just have the, to be honest, it's just the R that, you include the R in the fartura,
Fartura.
or it is fatura for
Fatura.
sure. It's the
See?
same word with an R if it's the thing to eat. Yes.
Yes. And they are not offering you
There's some,
donuts. They're not offering
no,
you donuts, but they're just
they're
trying to
not.
check your receipt. Okay. I'm glad we sorted that out. That can save a lot of embarrassment for people this morning.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
here we go. I live in an area called Pinhal de Frage, a place. But if I were referring to the people, the pine forest of the friars, it would be Pinhal dos Frades. Is that correct?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Team
Yeah.
effort this morning. This is good. Okay. I think we've done enough naughty words, everybody. So no more of that, please. Names can have regional variations as well. I think so for you, Jim, and we are talking about churros or faturs as well, which you'll see. Deeple has translation issues. This is good. This is a good point. How do you rate? You know, when you're teaching people, and let's find out how you do teach people, how it's possible to support people working with you. But when your students are saying, what translation app should I use? Which one do you recommend?
I usually don't recommend. And I'll tell you why. I'll
Go on.
tell you why. Because usually, although I'm not very familiar with the apps that are out there,
Yeah.
the ones that I know translate usually to Brazilian Portuguese. So
Yes.
it's not European Portuguese accurate. So some words are different. And it's not only the words, but the way the sentence is built. It's, although the structure is similar to Portuguese, European Portuguese, but the way you say the words and the way, it's a bit different.
Yes.
And so to my students, I usually don't recommend. But when sometimes they tell me, oh, I had this word in my head, so I went to Google Translate and just did some research. But even they tell me that the apps are not, don't fulfill their needs as Portuguese learners.
Okay. So
Yeah.
something not to be relied upon. Every now and then it can be helpful, but maybe not to make it a mainstay of
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
Portuguese education.
Especially if you're looking to learn Portuguese, European Portuguese.
Yeah, very good. Okay, and thank you for that, Pete. Deeple,
Thank you.
where did that go? Does at least separate European from Brazilian Portuguese, but does have issues. I use an app called PT Translator, specifically European Portuguese. Thank you for that
Okay.
recommendation,
Oh,
Jane.
great.
That's
Mm-hmm.
great. Okay, so how if people want to work with you, Maria João, how do they get signed up, and what's your teaching method? Because we work with the wonderful Philomena here. She has her style, and I think every Portuguese teacher has their own style, don't they? Their personality is expressed in their teaching, as with all teachers, of course. What would you say is your particular style, and are you online? Do you do face to face? How does it work for you?
Well, I do multiple ways. I have digital courses that people can, receive in their emails, and then they watch and rewatch whenever, they need or they want to learn.
Okay.
And audio courses, because some of my students like to be, traveling or taking the kids to school,
Yep.
or one of my students, he's a farmer, so he likes to be working and taking his time to listen to Portuguese, for example.
Good
So
idea.
the audio courses are great because you put on your headphones and you just listen to whatever thing you want to listen to that day.
Cool.
And then I have online courses that I'm here with you today. That we have a weekly schedule, or multiple weekly schedules. And I teach, like this online. And I also do sometimes, not very much, face to face, in presence courses too.
Okay, very good. So you've got it covered on
I do.
a number of
Yes.
options there.
Yes, that's true.
And this, I mean, the
It,
interesting thing that I'm struggling to find out is how to get in touch with you. You're very much
oh,
there on the supply side, but let's make sure we've got some details for you. I'm going to bring onto the screen
sure.
your Silva Academy, and I
Oh,
think
thank you. Yes.
haven't you also got a new book out as
I
well?
know. Yes. Not yet out.
Okay, but it's on
It's
its
on the
way.
process.
All right.
Yes.
So this is the Silva Academy, and this is quite new to Facebook, isn't it? With all the innovation you've been doing. So
Hmm.
you've got the Portuguese teaching, you've got the nutrition and the recipes, and also work with female entrepreneurs, which of course you are as well. So what is it you're doing in the world of entrepreneurship and women?
Well, I help women. Well, I do a lot of courses, different ones. Um, and one of the courses that I have is this one that is on the screen. It's manifestation through my experience. I've been teaching for 28 years,
Hmm.
all ages. Um, but this course in specific, for example, it's to help change mindset and prepare the mindset of people and women and men too. But this one is specific for women, but of course it's men are also welcome.
Yeah.
um, and it's to prepare not only to give tricks and techniques and affirmations for people that want to start their own business, to to accelerate the process of starting the business. And then I teach passive income, how strategies and ways of earning passive income. I also teach meditation courses and mediumship courses.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
My goodness. Okay. All right.
yeah.
So quite a lot there.
A
Um,
lot, a lot.
and,
And arts too,
and the
because I'm
link.
an artist. I
Cool. The
also
link is
teach.
there to those. That's fantastic. And is that the best way to get in touch with you if people want to learn Portuguese with you or do any of the other courses there? Send a
Yes,
message.
they can send a message through the Silva Academy or my personal account page, the
Okay.
one the one where we met,
All
Maria
right.
João Silva,
Okay.
or they can send an email to silverdigest@gmail.com.
Silver Digest. Okay. Let me make sure that that's also on the screen so people can find
Okay.
you should they want to do that. That's fantastic. So Silver Digest. Did you like my play on words, Silver Service? This for the show this morning.
Yes, I did. Yes.
So silverdigest at gmail.com. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
sure that's also available for people to get in touch with you with the many things you do, including tell us because when Francis heard you on this morning, he particularly liked and remembered your approach to raising kids.
Yes.
Which I do too. There's your email address. Let me put that onto the screen. Silver Digest.
It's sorry, Carl. It's silver with an E and an R instead of the A.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry.
no, that's fine, not a problem. I was just going with what I thought it might be. Making an assumption makes an ass of me mainly here this morning. So,
No, why would it be? No way.
okay,
It's
so
fine. It's
uh,
fantastic.
silverdigest at gmail.com. All right,
You know, I will adapt that email sooner or later.
okay. But
That
that is what
silver
people
one.
need. That's the one, isn't it?
Silver. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, we got that
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Just in the last couple of
Fantastic.
minutes, then, because I know you got to
Yes.
go. We have this new book in the pipeline, The Code,
Yep.
Emotional Child. Could you tell us briefly what this is?
Well, one of the things as you know, that I'm very passionate about is to help people, parents and teachers and school staff and adults in general,
Yeah.
about positive education and conscious education. And my first book, Kids Don't Misbehave, talks in general about this conscious parenting journey that we can all, embark on to
Yep.
change the way we raise children. and deal with children. But I was, missing, because in my workshops and in my courses, I always um, talk about the emotional part of all of us, that is in the base of everything. We can't perform if emotionally we're not okay. Of
Yes,
course,
well said.
that even kids cope with that. They have coping mechanisms when emotionally they're not okay, you know. But this book, The Code of the Emotional Child, bases mainly on the importance of the emotional part as the basis of everything, in child rearing and in connection. So it's like it, the it's the journey through the importance of the emotional part in each child. I'm sorry.
Mm.
And every one of us, and as parents and as educators, um, so it has special focus on the emotional part of all of us, and children in particular, of course,
Yes.
um, and the importance of that emotional part in our performance daily, in the way, I speak a lot about the science behind the conscious and positive effects of raising children.
Amazing, amazing. Because in many ways, we could argue, couldn't we, that most of us are in some way an emotional child. Is that the
Yes.
is that one of the
Oh
points?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh, for
That
sure.
yeah, we might still have that in us, right? If it hasn't been
For
attended.
sure. Yes.
Yeah, and that would also reflect on how we relate to kids, wouldn't it? Our own kids and the next generation. Fantastic work.
Oh,
This is
thank you.
another part of your amazing output. And so when will this be available?
Maybe in the summer.
This is a summer book.
For
Okay.
maybe for pre-sale in the spring, maybe April,
Okay.
March, April. It will be for sure available for pre-sale,
Yeah.
pre-order, and then um, maybe June it will be out. May, June it will be here.
Fantastic. Now, will you
Mhm.
come to San Martino de Porto? We're starting a thing called Days in the Bay, where people could come and either come for the
Oh
day,
my
but maybe
God.
stay for the weekend, and then
Oh wow.
spend some
Tell
time
me.
with somebody honest who talks about a specialist subject of some kind. Clearly, you have many you could possibly speak about,
Oh my
but
God.
we want people to come and they could be in your company and you could tell them more about this in person and maybe give them a few strategies and insights. Would that be of
I'd
interest to you?
love that. When is that?
Well, as and when we're just starting to build our faculty now, and this is an offer to anyone who has a specialist subject. Days in the Bay, come, maybe on a Friday night, unwind, be in San Martino de Porto. Then on the Saturday, have a nice breakfast, walk on the beach, and then hang out with somebody like Bob and Viv, or John Brand with his poetry, or Nancy doing Ayurveda, or Mrs. M doing a bit of
Oh, dear
spiritual.
Mrs. M.
Maybe even with you as well, Maria João Silva, talking about the raising kids or resolving our own childhood hurts and harms and so on.
Yes, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned this, because maybe 2 weeks ago I was feeling it was like a big feeling, um, that I needed to go to São Martinho, and I didn't know why. And now you told me that, and I was like, oh, so
This is
this
it.
was it.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's fantastic. We'll see you as well. Maybe
Wow.
copies of the new book.
Oh, yes.
It's 10:05. I've kept you far longer than I should have, and you've been so helpful to us. We're going to get donuts instead of bills at the supermarket. We know how to separate our urine, the number ones and the number twos, and and most of all, great to know
Ah,
you've helped Pete here. He won't be ordering a hot cup of cocoa anytime soon. You've saved you've saved us from so many embarrassing situations. Love the ideas of Days in the Bay. Hopefully, Jim, you'll be joining us as well for a
that's
day. We
true.
have such a skilled and interesting faculty of people, a community of people. So please come with your gifts,
Wow,
share
that's
them with
beautiful.
the rest of the community. That's the spirit of it. Portuguese food, Portuguese wine, Portuguese company, and a beautiful Portuguese place, San Martino de Porto. So let's come. Let's have some fun doing that in
For
spring.
sure.
Marvelous. Okay, Maria João Silva, thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me. You have a great day too, and everybody.
Do you want to stay for the fire ritual, or are you going to go now?
I don't have to go. Not right now.
It's only a little video, but by Andy had a burn on his quinta yesterday. So if you've got anything to throw into this fire, first of all, I'm going to bless you all with some gumper dust. And if there's anything you want to get rid of that's irking you, slowing you down in life, that's causing you to have not the smoothest and sweetest trajectory through life, why don't you scrumple it up in a little ball right now, metaphorically, and throw it onto the fire, which we're going to play for you now, and then go out with our customary end theme tune. Maria João Silva, we're ready, aren't we, with the fire? Thank you so much for being here. See you next month. Have a great day.
You too. Beijinhos. Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Bye. Beijinhos. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you for...
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day